So we continue with the story in prophet Isaiah, and we noticed that yesterday the northern kingdom of Israel was trying to create alliance with other nations. So basically, they lost their trust in God, and now they know that the superpower, the Assyrian Empire, is coming after them. And of course, they lost their trust in God, and they were conquered by the Assyrian. But notice in today's reading, though, why did God change his course of action against the Assyrian Empire? Because of what the Assyrian king did. In his spoken hubris, he spoke against God, and in pride did put everything on himself, not giving thanks to God. And of course, he wasn't following God at that point, but it was so prideful that God basically decimated his army before he even thought about coming down to conquer the southern kingdom of Judah and Jerusalem. And so basically, we look at this as an example, like what happened in the life of our pride. God doesn't stay close to the heart that's prideful, that's arrogant, or that's ambitious. The response psalm reminds us of that. The Lord will not abandon his people. No, he does not abandon his people who humble themselves as people. And today we celebrate that the great saint, Saint Bonaventure, who modeled for us a life of humility. In his humbleness as a person, he joined the Franciscan order, became a general superior at the age of 35. Every time an office of a bishop was given to him, he ran away, not out of fear, because he doesn't want titles. He just wants to serve the Lord. He is known as the Crucifix doctor. It's because the words he's written down exuberate divine love, the love that exists at his encounter with God. It says that St. Thomas Aquinas, his contemporary at that time, asked him, "Where did you get this great learning from, Bonaventure?" And Bonaventure just looked at the crucifix. That's amazing. All he had to do was look at the crucifix to get his answers for everything. And that's how we should do to imitate St. Bonaventure. In everything that we do we look at the crucifix? Do we look at the crucifix and ask ourselves, have we done more than what that man did on the cross? If we can say, yes, I've done more, then yes, we have every right to be prideful and ambitious. I remember during the season of Lent and the parish I was at, when the family was explaining to the little child about, show him the crucifix and saying like, Jesus had to die. And the little kid said, but why did he have to die? Because he was looking at the crucifix. He began to understand that what Jesus had done for us, what God is willing to do for us, the extent of what he would do for us, for our souls, for our salvation, for his own children. So today, St. Bonaventure modeled for us in times of when we're tempted to speak in hubris, we become prideful, thinking that we've done everything on our own. Let's look at the crucifix. Let's look at the crucifix and look at the God who took on human nature, who's willing to die for us, who's willing to climb on the cross and gave of himself to us. That's what God desires. That's why the gospel readings say, be childlike. Childlike, not childish. Okay, there's a difference. Childlike accepts the truth, may not understand it, but trust in what has been said. Childish is when you don't understand it and you throw a tantrum. That's not what God asks of us. He asks of us to trust him. The northern kingdom of Israel did not trust God, and they fell. The Assyrian Empire fell because of hubris, because of pride. St. Bonaventure, a doctor of the church, humbled himself before God, and God exalted him. God desires our heart. He wants us to humble ourselves before him. And every time we look at the crucifix, we're reminded of how much we need humility in our own life. So turn to the crucifix in times of trouble, in time of pride, in time of ambition. Look at that crucifix and see what God has done for you. And trust God.